an invocation by Officer John Zerpolo and the Pledge of Allegiance by Chief Brendan Green. Officer Zerpolo.
You bet me, please. Father in heaven, Lord, thanks for another day that you provided for us. Thanks for all the blessings that you shower down on us, Father. And thank you for this time to gather here and discuss the business of your city, Father. And pray that the decisions that we made tonight be most beneficial for the city and that your name be glorified. Pray for this and keep all day.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, the first item up on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve by Councilmember Cox. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Scholar. All in favor? Motion carries. Next, under new business, approval of a resolution to name Richmond Hill Fire Department Station 1 as the Captain Theron Deering Senior Building. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Scholar. All in favor? The motion carries. Did we surprise you?
Yeah.
Mr. Theron, if you would step up here, please. We've been looking forward to this for a long time. Resolution to name the Richmond Hill Fire Department Station 1 as the Captain Theron Deering Senior Building. Whereas Theron Deering Sr. played an integral role in the incorporation of the city of Richmond Hill on March 3, 1962. And whereas Theron Deering Sr. was a Richmond Hill Fire Department volunteer firefighter for nearly 40 years, earning the rank of captain. And whereas Theron Deering Sr. also served as a city of Richmond Hill council member from 1973 to 1990. And whereas the naming of the facility is an appropriate recognition for such a distinguished person, and now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council of the city of Richmond Hill names Richmond Hill Fire Department Station 1, located at 9964 Ford Avenue, in honor of Theron Deering Sr., and be it further resolved that the mayor and council directs that an appropriate ceremony be held to mark the naming of the Captain Theron Deering Senior Building. So resolved this first day of March 2022. Thank you for your years of service. Next up is the consent agenda. Council, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Fussell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Ward. All in favor? Motion carries. Planning and zoning, Scott Allison.
Good evening. First, I have the Planning Commission Architecture Review Board verbal report. The ARB met a while back and reviewed and approved the building elevations for the Thurston office building. That then went to the Planning Commission for site plan review and was approved last night. It's a new office building outside of the Ford Plantation on the left as you go into the main entrance. So it's in keeping with the architecture of our Ford overlay and with the Ford Plantation. Should be a nice addition. They also made a recommendation for approval of the Coleman subdivision that you have before you tonight, as well as a phase 1B for Radiant for 60 lots to the east of the phase 1A that you guys received the plats for already. next item I have has actually been withdrawn, so that won't be on the agenda tonight. We have a first reading that's going to be withdrawn.
See you. Bye.
So next I have first reading of petition filed with the city of Richmond Hill by Adolph Nelson requesting to rezone 28 Laurel Street from C3 interchange commercial to C1 general commercial, map and parcel number 0461016. This is first reading. We discussed it briefly at workshop. Went to planning commission. They made a recommendation for approval. You have within your packet the location of the property. As discussed previously, the intent is to zone that from a C3 interchange commercial to C1. It opens up opportunities for office use on the property. It's not a real big piece of property, so some of the uses that are permitted in C3, like a truck stop or a hotel, wouldn't go on that property. So it opens the property up for some more general commercial type activities. It is contiguous to other C1 as well. Again, it's first reading. This would be an item for consideration for the next council meeting.
Council, any questions, even though this is the first reading?
Okay. Next, we have the approval, disapproval of the acceptance for processing of the application for annexation by Jimmy Summers for 8.7 acres of land with the map and parcel number 055056 located at 2589 Harris Trail Road, lying contiguous to the now existing boundaries of the city of Richmond Hill. This also was discussed at workshop, shouldn't be new to you guys. I have within the packet the location of the property. I also have some information that's been provided in the application by Mr. Summers and their group. In short, all this is the beginning of the process. This allows staff to take to the next step of the annexation process. There's some state law requirements that have to be met in some coordination with the county. While that process occurs, the application goes through rezone. That would go before planning commission for public hearing and then back to you guys for first and second reading. I believe the intent would be to rezone that to R3 district, multifamily residential. And the annexation occurs as if it was to be approved, the rezoning, the finalization of the annexation occurs right before the rezoning, because you can't rezone property inside the city, it's got to be in the city first. So that would be at a meeting in May if it continues to proceed, if approved tonight in the process.
I understand Councilmember Ward will abstain. Council, is there any discussion, questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the acceptance for processing of the application for annexation for 8.7 acres of land, 2589 Harris Trail.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Cox. All in favor? The motion carries.
All right, next, we have the approval, disapproval of the preliminary plat submitted by Coleman Company for Lot 3, Hudspeth property located in Francis Meeks Way. Council, within your packet, you will find the subdivision plat. What this is, it's the last parcel on the right down Francis Meeks before you get to the bus barn. It's a large commercial property now. What the applicants, the owners, are trying to do is split that into 3 lots. They've been trying to market the property. It's a very large piece, so they believe it to be more marketable as 3 parcels. And the preliminary plat does show that it meets all of our subdivision regulations and it's compliant with the zoning district that it's in. This went to planning commission for recommendation last night. They made a recommendation for approval.
Council, any questions?
The only thing I would say, I know this is very, very preliminary, but I know that the building that's between Ford Avenue and this piece of property had a lot of issues when it rained with the, just the amount of that.
Absolutely. So when they if they are able to sell it and proceed to put something on the lots, that'll be taken into consideration. Flood ordinance has changed since then as well, since that previous one was built. So we'll definitely take that into consideration when engineering review and design.
Council, any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Fussell. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Ward. All in favor? The motion carries.
Next, we have the approval, disapproval of the payment in lieu of tree mitigation to the city tree fund for Ageechee Station on Kroger Drive. This shouldn't be unfamiliar to you guys. We've had a couple of since we adopted this portion of the Unified Development Ordinance. We've had a couple of these come before you. So this is, plat's already been approved by you guys, preliminary plat for the development. And they had an arborist go in and analyze all the trees that are on the property that were considered to be either hazardous or decayed or dying. Went through a process with us, and due to the wetlands and also the transmission lines, squeezed in there, so it became a geometry game of trying to lay it out on their end to save trees and where they could and where they couldn't. Well, where they could not, it equates to a payment in lieu of tree mitigation to the city, request you guys to accept $67,500. If approved, that money goes into a fund that we have at the city that goes to put trees and other locations on public land, as well as, handles improvements to our parks, things like that. Not necessarily playground, but hardscape, fencing, things like that. $67,000.
And some trees are still left, they're not clear cutting it, correct?
Sure, there's an area where there's a significant amount of wetlands, and then outside of that, but there's, like everything else left around here, there's a tremendous amount of fill that has to be brought in. And when that happens, it has a major impact on those trees.
Council, any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Fussell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Scala. All in favor? Motion carries.
Next, we have the approval disapproval for adoption of a resolution to support the Department of Community Affairs grant application for the creation of a local historic district in Richmond Hill Village, the Bottom, and Blueberry Village. This was discussed previously with you guys. It's a 60-40 grant it's a $25,000 project where the grant covers $15,000. The city would submit in 10. It is to try to create the design guidelines like we did for the Ford district, but it's a residential component in the Bottom and also in Blueberry.
I understand Councilmember Cox will abstain.
Yeah.
Council, any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Fussell. All in favor? The motion carries.
Okay, next we have the approval disapproval of allowing the zoning administrator to file a violation to the Ford Park of Commerce PUD with the clerk of municipal court for 55 Mustang Drive, first section 24-4C of the City of Richmond Unified Development Ordinance. We've discussed this at length. I have within your packet the previous notifications that we sent in that section of the Unified Development Ordinance. Staff's considering this more of a break glass in case of emergency situation. The property as it sits is pretty much it's been rectified. But due to the lengthy process that's required, the ordinance does allow for us, with your permission, to proceed a little bit more timely if the violation continues or if it happens again within a time period.
I understand Councilmember Ward will abstain. Council, are there any other questions?
This has been resolved for the time being, correct?
Correct.
Any other questions? Council, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Fussell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Cox. All in favor? Motion carries. Next up, City Manager.
Only have one item tonight, Mayor, and before we get into it, I wanted to give a little update. We've got our preliminary numbers back on the audit for 2021, and it's we actually did pretty well from the standpoint of managing expenses, and we had a little better revenue. We'll have a full report, but we think we added probably $700,000-800,000 to reserve, which means we were below budget or on expenses and above budget on above budget on revenues. So that's all good news and kind of a testament to our staff that manage the expenses while we're going through some unknown times. But in addition, the resilience of kind of where we are from a community to and how important sales tax are to us. So anyway, long story short is we'll have a full detailed report on that when it comes in. But I just want to give you kind of the good news ahead of time. The item I have, Mayor, is approval, disapproval for a resolution establishing salaries paid to mayor and council members. This is a resolution to increase the pay to mayor and council. Let's be clear, this is not for you guys. It will be for the next group of people. The law is pretty clear about you have to wait until the next election for these things to take place. We did quite a bit of research on this. And we kind of came to the conclusion that we haven't changed it in a long time, at least over 10 years, probably closer to 15 or 20. We need to kind of get up with the times. I mean, there's obviously some inflationary pressure in our world today. You guys don't do it for the money, obviously, because there's not enough of it. But I think there's some compensation that needs to be made more in line, especially with other communities our size. There's a spreadsheet in your package that kind of goes through different communities that are our size that show what they're paid. I think that it's pretty interesting to look through, but we kind of try to hit it right in the middle for you guys. And once again, I want to make sure that we all understand this is not for you, it's for the next group that comes in. So, which might include some of y'all. But I think it's not going to change next week. So.
Council, any questions?
Yeah, so it would be the next election come through, which is almost 2 years away.
2 years away, correct.
That's when it's effective, 2 years.
Correct. 2 years from January. 2024.
The election will be in November.
23.
23 and then January 24.
It would probably be the first check. Actually, you don't get what's month? So it would be February. It would take for you to actually see a change.
Council, any other questions?
February 24.
Maybe January.
We can check to February. February.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. Yeah, so it's just something you have to do ahead of time if you want to get it done. And I think it's past due time.
To this credit, Mayor Howard Fowler voted for this, and we decided for one reason or not to, so we're doing it now. Council, hearing no other questions, is there a motion to approve or disapprove?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Scholar. All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
Communications, happy 60th birthday to the city of Richmond Hill. We were established on March 3rd, 1962. The local civic group, the JCs, helped shepherd us through the charter process with the state. And on March 3rd, we became a city, and we have had a very successful 60 years, and we praise God for that. Council, any comments, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, a couple comments. One, I'm very happy to see that the progress has started up at the cemetery by the library. They've got a great big pile that's been cleared, and I'm just pleased that we're finally getting on to that project. The other thing is, and I'll talk more about it at the workshop, but I'm working with Christy Sherman on the Richmond Hill Roots program to recognize families in Richmond Hill, and we'll be talking more about that next workshop. That's all.
Thank you, Councilmember Scholar. Any others?
I'd like to say, we had our DEA meeting this morning with our new group, and they're absolutely great, and we approved some great projects in J.F. River. And all the light poles from 30 poles from here all the way to the
nothing DDA related, but you've been instrumental in changing out some signs in some other neighborhoods. You want to give us some details on that?
Yeah, we've been going through every neighborhood and, changed out all the street signs, and stop signs, the street signs are faded and just wore out, and, I know we've done Richmond Heights, we've done
Mulberry.
Mulberry, we just got finished with the bottom in Cherokee. We're fixing to do Melrose, that's, all the street signs, all the stop signs will be changed, so just neighborhood by neighborhood. I think Melrose is next, and Blueberry will be after that.
Thank you for taking the lead on that, and Steve, thank you for taking the lead on what you're doing. We have the best council we've ever had in my 12 years on board. Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion for the first.
Motion to adjourn by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Fussell. All in favor? The motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.